Hi, Jake.
Hello. Hi, James.
Do you know what this is? It's our second episode of our podcast. I have a quick little quiz for you, just to get us warmed up for this. And it's pretty simple. In 1 minute, how many Elder Scrolls games can you name? Being mainline games, expansions, mobile games, whatever Elder Scrolls has put out.
Okay.
Are you ready for that?
I'm ready. Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind, Daggerfall, The Elder Scrolls Arena, The Elder Scrolls Dragonborn, the expansion, Dawnguard, Shivering Isles, The Elder Scrolls Online, of course, big one.
Of course.
The Elder Scrolls Hearthfire, I believe it's called.
Definitely.
Actually, my Elder Scrolls knowledge is used.
You said Arena and Daggerfall, Morrowind,
Yeah.
Tribunal and Blood Moon are the expansions or DLCs for Morrowind. There was also Elder Scrolls Blades, which is a mobile game. Let's just stop. There's tons. Let's just get going with our first topic. So, Jake, there is some news from the world of Tamriel. Quite exciting, at least for me. We talked about last time what our first Elder Scrolls game was that we played. Yours was, of course, Skyrim, as far as I remember. For
Yes.
real, at least, that you really played. I played this game. First, I played Oblivion. And the news that's been coming out the last weeks is that not only is it very heavily rumored, that there is going to be an Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remaster coming out, but it's also supposedly quite soon. Let me just tell you a little bit about this. Is a leaker called Nate the Hate. He's not just a random leaker. He's really hit a lot of truths in the past.
Trustworthy.
Came out some months ago in a different leak or at like a rumor at least, that the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, the remaster, remake, whatever that's gonna be, is coming. And at that point, it was rumored to be something that was gonna happen in the summer. But Nate here has a different opinion. He says that this game could already be shadow dropped, meaning kind of dropped without any sort of marketing before, in April of 2024, which means that it could be merely weeks away.
Yeah, 2025, but yeah.
So what did I say?
24, I think. I think I would have noticed if it was out, but
that's really a shadow drop.
that is really a shadow drop.
We haven't even seen it. 25, of course. And it's going to be made in the Unreal Engine 5. I'm sure that means something to someone out there, but Unreal Engine really has a good reputation, at least.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too bad.
For graphics. Allegedly, there is some sort of gameplay enhancements, because my big worry is when I hear something like this. What do you think if you just hear Oblivion with better graphics? Do you think that would be a success?
Well, I've always wanted to play Oblivion for real. I played a little bit with you many years ago, but that was mostly the arena and just running around randomly, not doing quests. As far as I'm concerned, maybe the quest system is a little complicated, or at least not as clear as in Skyrim, for example. So I think an optimization of also how the quest system works, the inventory, the stats on weapons and armors and stuff like that would maybe also be appreciated.
Well, then you're in luck, because this leaker at least says that there is gonna be slight enhancements to the gameplay, maybe to make it look a little bit more and play a little bit more like Skyrim at least. So there is revamped. I must admit, I don't remember how a lot of these mechanics were in Oblivion, but apparently a lot of time has gone into and this is I'll say this rumor to me is confusing, but the rumor is that the blocking mechanics in the game has been revamped so they feel like Souls games.
Okay.
And to me, that could kind of mean two things. Either this leak is pure nonsense, or that's how they want to do it in the next Elder Scrolls game. They want to do combat more like the Souls games.
And we actually talked about last time in the first podcast we did that maybe they should do something to the combat to make it maybe closer to Souls, like closer to God of War, closer to whatever. But I don't know if like a proper Souls-like combat system with blocking and would actually work in Elder Scrolls.
That's what I mean. Like, what is that? Because, like, to me, I've only really played Elden Ring myself, and I've definitely watched some of the other games as kind of Let's Plays. But what does that tell you? Like Souls-like blocking. What is that? Is that timing based or?
Yeah, I think it's very timing based, and it's this about really learning the enemy's pattern of movement and of attacking, so you can adapt to that. So you can dodge at the right time, you can block at the right time, you can run the right places, you can strike also at the exact right time to inflict damage and to not get hurt, because I mean we all know that Souls-like are terribly difficult. Correct me if I'm wrong, but at least Skyrim is the quite easy games, especially considering combat. That's really far away from what the Souls games are doing. But I mean,
I like the tidbit of them reworking Oblivion into something more Souls-like, at least in terms of the blocking mechanic. I think that could be an early tell on what they're planning to do with Elder Scrolls 6, as I said, because I think if they rework, because honestly, Oblivion and Skyrim's combat system is quite similar. It's almost the same. Mm-hmm. There is not dual wielding in Oblivion, but it's kind of the same. If you have a one-hand weapon, you just hack and slash, and then you hope to block in a very simplified way. So if they do work this into like a more, Souls-like, maybe like more like dodging, rolling, blocking system, then I think that's what they're planning to do with the next installment.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like it could be. Again, I'm not sure it would really play well in an Elder Scrolls scenario. At least it's quite far from what they've done before. Bethesda are not known for their unique combat system and their great fighting mechanics and stuff like that. So it would be quite a different direction to take the game. Maybe they're trying to switch things up.
There's also the league also suggests that enhance the sneaking, the stealth system has been enhanced, specifically mentioning something to do with the HUD, like more highlighted icons and stuff. It was a very rudimentary sneaking system in Oblivion, because obviously the AI or the pathing of the NPCs were quite poor. So it was kind of just like a little, to me at least, it felt like a little random if they noticed you or not.
Yeah, makes sense.
I guess they're gonna just do it like Skyrim. That has an icon of, a very clear icon of when you're sneaking or not, right? Or when you're being seen or not.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like that.
I think they're doing that. They also say modernized archery mechanics for both first and third person perspectives. I'm assuming this means animations. I don't think the mechanic is changing.
Like in Skyrim again.
I think that the whole animation of him like tightening the bow and releasing the arrows, I think that's just what it is. I don't think that we're gonna see anything else to that. If they wanted to do any sort of difference in combat, I know it's a little difficult to do big changes. I mean, they're not remaking the entire game, they're just porting it to Unreal Engine, I assume. But if they want to test out little stuff, this is a perfect opportunity, right? Because even if people don't like the remaster, then okay, then what, And then the last one is kind of, they want to redesign the HUD for improved clarity. I don't really know. I mean, it's of course, Oblivion's HUD is very old school, has lots of different colors and bars, and maybe as far as I remember, I usually play Skyrim without the HUD on these days, but as far as I remember, it's a little more simple, of little less information that's on the screen at the same time. So I'm assuming that that's what they mean.
Yeah, and also maybe toned down a little bit, but to be fair, I actually quite like the HUD in Oblivion. Maybe that's just nostalgia, I don't know, but I like the way it looked.
But yeah, what do you think? Like April, we could be seeing a new Elder Scrolls game. Granted, it's an old Elder Scrolls game, but it's kind of exciting, right?
Then I know what I'm gonna be playing for from April to, the next long time.
We'll see. Maybe you'll get to in weeks, and then we started this podcast at the exact right time. So Jake, now I feel like I've been talking for a while, and so now I want to hear from you a lot. We did last time, we started our Elder Scrolls 6 wish list, and what did you say last time?
Last time I talked about more random encounters, stuff that happens traveling from city to city, not part of a quest, not part of anything specific, just when you wander around exploring, and then something happens and you're dragged into some kind of, could be a combat, could be a little side quest, could be whatever, but something that just happens out of nowhere.
Right, and I talked about my wish of it going back to Skyrim in some sort of shape or fashion, like maybe a quest line or just a quick visit or a character from Skyrim. I want it to feel connected to Skyrim, because that's all we've been talking about the last 15 years. So it'd be weird if it was not in any way connected. But
mentioned, yeah, that would be awesome.
But most like lots of Elder Scrolls things, that's a conversation in the past. Let's move it to the present. What is your new wish for the wish list of Elder Scrolls 6 today?
I have prepared one, and it's a big one for me. It's one of my biggest hopes and wishes for the new Elder Scrolls. Is something I really hope they go with. I
Horse
doubt it.
armor.
Horse armor. No,
Okay.
no, definitely not.
I guess it would be camel armor in this game, because I think it's camels.
Okay, then I'm on board. Yeah, I'm sold. No, I wrote unique weapons and armor, meaning like they did in Skyrim. We have Children, we have Dawnbringer, we have all the different armors, the Nightingale armor, the Daedric armors. I love those unique weapons and armor sets that you can find exploring the world. Not only necessarily part of a quest, but also just enhancing the exploration experience. They went away from it in a little bit in Fallout 4. They went a lot away from it in Starfield, where they did this legendary item system that I really don't enjoy. I think it takes a lot away from the experience of just roaming around the world, exploring, questing, and always have this feeling of maybe I find something unique in the next dungeon, in the next chest. And then I think that it gives a lot to the community that we can all share the experience of the first time we found Children, the first time we got the Meridius beacon. That brings a lot to the community, and I think that is really lost when you just get a randomly generated legendary something with random stats, and you're like, oh well, I don't really care. Yeah. Because I mean, me personally don't really care a lot about stats. I care about the design of a weapon, how it looks, how it feels. Also the same with armor, how it looks. Yeah. Not necessarily how good they are. The stats, the abilities, doesn't do anything special.
You're very fashion, right? A fashion lord in these games.
Fashion.
So am I. I would wish to say that I've ever spent any time on looking at the stats of the outfits. Outfits is probably not the right word either. Armors,
no,
I guess.
I mean, but that says a lot about you and
outfits.
How you play Skyrim.
I call them outfits. Definitely, it's outfits. And I don't look at it. I've worn the same outfit. Again, armor. Sorry, guys, I'm losing everyone. It's the same armor since 2011, basically. It's the Nightingale armor. I only wear light armors because I think heavy armors are clunky. Even if I play a clunky character, I don't wear that stuff. Are you as binary there, or do you look a little bit into the stats of weapons and armor?
No, I look a little bit into the stats, but I definitely would always choose what I think looks cool over what is maybe the best. I'm not sure what I'm gonna say now is correct, but I think the Dragon Bone armor is the best in Skyrim. But I've always gone for the Daedric because I like heavy armors, and I think the Daedric armor is the coolest thing they ever made, except the Nightingale armor, of course, which I also really like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's really a big thing, and I really hope they bring that on in the Elder Scrolls 6, because otherwise, I mean, they take a lot of the exploration experience away from me, at least.
Well, first of all, that I totally agree with. I just want to say, and this might be not the most common opinion, but Daedric armors are trash. They look awful. You look like it's the Skyrim equivalent of wearing a trash bag as an outfit and going outside.
You lost 99% of our listeners.
It doesn't. I mean, how could people like that stuff? It's so I
am 100% sure that most Skyrim players agree with me. But you like the Dark Brotherhood armor, don't you?
That's alright. I mean,
that tight silicone outfit where you're, I feel fancy. I'm so pretty.
You lost me at tight silicone. I didn't hear the rest you said. But it's funny. I mean, Nightingale. I think everybody would agree that that's one of the best armors in Skyrim, right? But it's funny that people like these things. I would agree with you. Dragon Bone, I think it's called, right? Is awful. Mm-hmm. Is there something that I warned that? I mean, I like to roleplay in my games, and the problem with Skyrim is that it doesn't really allow me to, because I can, again, very quick comment, KCD2, there's a certain ideal behind wearing different outfit at different times. If you're going to war, you should wear your strongest armor. If you're in a city and you want to risk someone, you should wear your most risk clothes, right? So you do kind of switch, and it's part of the game. And I feel like in Skyrim, it doesn't matter what you wear. I mean, obviously, they're gonna tell you, they're gonna maybe make a comment about it, the guards or whatever. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. I also have something that I'm obviously extremely, I mean, if you don't like KCD2, this podcast is probably annoying, but I am playing that, and of course my opinion is taken from there, but I I just had the pleasure of, I had a friend over this weekend. So we started to play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 on a new save. He hasn't played it before. I've obviously in my own save about maybe 35 hours into it. So we started a new save, and I was kind of curious to see, because it has kind of the appearance of choice and consequences, but I was interested to see how different is it going to be. And even in the beginning of KCD2, there is kind of two options, two main quest lines you could go with. I think that's not really a spoiler, but you can in the beginning go with like one guy, there's a miller, or one guy that's a blacksmith, and then you basically get a new, or like a kind of a unique, it leads to the same main quest, but it's kind of two different paths. One of the early quest lines in that has to go to a fort and help out these people, basically find a cart of missing items that some bandits has kind of stolen. It's very simplified, it's more complicated than that. But because we have to have a horse for that quest, otherwise we can't go on it and ride with the others, and we did not have a horse, we had to step out of it, and then we started gambling and trying to steal items and sell them and stuff to try to get money for that horse so we can go on that quest. And then we had enough money finally to gamble, and if we had won that gamble, we would have the money for our horse. But of course, lo and behold, we lost. So we lost our money for that horse and had to kind of find a new ways. And while we were doing that, trying to steal honey from peasants and stuff to get money, honey is, by the way, take it if you find it. It's both a good food and good to sell.
Like in real life.
While that happened, the two NPCs that had that quest decided to leave on it themselves. They were tired of waiting for us. So these guys are no longer waiting for you. They are riding to investigate it themselves. And then some hours later, they came back, and I can go talk to them and hear about the quest. First of all, they were quite mad, quite pissed off at us because we didn't show up. Second of all, they did the whole quest themselves. So the outcome of that quest, they decided. There's different ways that you can decide it, and I don't know if this is always the outcome, and if it's kind of a random one with them, but it was thought into the game that we didn't appear for this, and they just did it themselves, and then that affected our relationships with that fort or that lord at that fort. So it's like, that's just an example of how adaptive that gameplay is. Of course, that...
And then you didn't do any of the quests, basically.
It's not just a short little thing. It's a good, like, an hour and a half or two.
Yeah.
That was then skipped.
And they just... did it without you.
And not only that had a consequence, because also on that quest, because you're kind of like go to different bandit camps and stuff, and you get a lot of loot. And because we didn't get any of that loot, we really were in a pickle. Like, we had such a hard time doing stuff because we were so poor and without anything for the next quest lines. So it kind of...
Yeah, I mean, makes sense, again, because you didn't show up for the quest.
So our Henry in that gameplay was really destitute. So we spent a lot of time just surviving, getting food, finding a place to sleep in the stables, and gambling, which was not at all a part of my other playthrough where I showed up for that quest line.
I mean, I think that is an awesome thing to integrate in the game. That's so awesome in a very role-playing like way. This is what an RPG should do.
And some people would say, okay, it wasn't even that much on purpose. It was literally just us. First of all, the horse thing, we failed a couple of speech checks because we could have gotten the horse for free. Because we played more of like a soldier type, I played like a diplomatic like speech type, so I succeeded that speech check, and I got the horse for free. So, and then we couldn't afford it and stuff. So there's so many things playing into that, right?
I love that.
We didn't try to do this, but the game kind of decided like, you know what, while you're doing all this, we can't, people have schedules and stuff in this game, and we didn't get all those advantages. We were still kind of just hustling on the streets of, Tarkov or whatever that is.
Yeah, and I mean, this is one quest in a game that's like 100 hours plus. Imagine how much work it takes for the devs to put all these kind of different outcomes, and if you don't do this, then this happens. If you do this, then this happens.
Yeah,
it must have taken forever. But the immersion of the game is so much better.
It made our game really hard and super different. The thing we talked about is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and this is what I'm gonna go to with with the new Elder Scrolls. This is not a game where the world reacts to you as a player. This is a game where you as a player has to react to the world. And that's what I want the next Elder Scrolls to do. I want this game to be a world that happens, and then you get to take place in it. I don't think it will be like that, because Elder Scrolls has a history of you being like the golden boy, right? Or the golden lady or whatever. The hero that has to save the earth, the world, the Tamriel, right?
Yeah, I mean, that would be awesome. I again, as I said before, I think this is what really makes a great RPG, that the choices you make, the actions you take during a gameplay really has an effect on what happens, the outcome of a quest, the state of the world, basically, and what happens to your character, also what happens to other characters.
Yeah.
I think that's great, and I think if they would take some of that at least and put it into the next Elder Scrolls, it would really change the way you play Elder Scrolls games and the immersion of the game. So I would love them to go with that.
All right, cool. That was our wish list. Let's move on to the next bit.
I think as our listeners now have heard a couple of times...
You just used plural of listeners? I don't know. I haven't seen that data.
The listener. We have the listener.
You are the listener. Okay.
No, I think the one listener we have now heard a couple of times that you have played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Did I mention it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you mentioned it. I think, what should we say, 35, 40 hours into the game? And I have not played it. So I just want to ask a few questions, get some information, figure out what makes Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 great, because I think most of us agree that it is a great game, great reviews, a lot of people are playing it, so something must be done right. Moving a little bit away from the Elder Scrolls, we will get back to it, guys, don't worry. But for now, I just want to ask you, first impressions after, let's say, 35, 40 hours of playing. Also, as you said before, playing the game 2 times, the beginning of the game. What are your first impressions? What do you like? And as I said, what makes the game great?
I think the first thing you realize is that this feels like something opened up in you that you've forgotten in gaming. It feels like the way that it felt playing Skyrim in 2011 or Oblivion in 2006. It feels like one of those things where you just... I don't know, it hits that spot in you. It's almost nostalgic to play it, which is odd. But it feels like gaming, don't misunderstand, it's not a bad thing, of course, but it feels like gaming like when 10, 15 years ago. When it was
that rare nostalgic feeling that we're all searching for again.
It feels nostalgic to play it for me, and of course that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I think it's because the game, obviously it's an elevated version, but it really feels like the game that I grew up loving. And I think that was my first impression. It was so like, we talked last time about the Dragon Age, the Veil God, and we talked about Starfield on this, and either some of them are great games, and definitely both of those games have great elements, but I didn't feel this way in any of those, and I didn't feel that way either in Dragon Age Inquisition or Fallout 4 really, or like, it's been a while. And I think that was my first impression. If you look more into the game, like I've actually taken some examples that I've written down, because I think what my favorite part of the KCD2 is I kind of talked about it in the last segment, but how the world is just a thing that you exist in. I played yesterday by myself. Very sad. That sounded sad, but on my own playthrough. And just 2 little things that I noticed. One thing is it's very random, but it's like if you steal a key from an NPC, or steal their keys from their house or something like that, they will realize that their keys are missing after a day or 2, and they will change their locks.
That's awesome. Oh, that's such a good mechanic.
If you stealth around and I'm stealing a lot, as you can hear in the game, but if you stealth around and you steal something... Also
in the game.
And well, yeah, of course. If you sneak around and you steal something valuable, and even if you aren't caught stealing it, but if then one of the NPCs or the guards see that you're in some sort of... There's a lot of restricted areas and stuff, private areas and stuff, right? And if they see you in that area, they will go around looking in their closets and cupboards to see if something is missing, and if they do find that item missing, they will go and confront you or call the guards.
Okay, that's
a
really
crazy
awesome
thing. So like, even though you got away with stealing the thing,
you didn't really get away with it.
What are you doing in my house at night or something? And then they'll be like, you can see them physically go around checking their stuff, and then then
they'll be like, why do you have my mother's medallion and something like that?
This makes it feel so... I mean, obviously these are just 2 random things, and I'm sure I could mention like 1,000 more of those little things, but that also blends back to, this is how I felt when I played Oblivion the first time. Obviously this was like looking back, and
groundbreaking.
Might get to see that if this remaster is coming in April, but I felt like the NPCs, they had their little workday schedules and evening schedules, and they seemed to kind of react to what I was doing, of course in a 2006 way. So obviously KSD2 isn't a fantasy game, but it's why it feels so connected to Oblivion, because it's first of all the kind of the graphics, the art style of like, this is Europe in the Middle Ages, and kind of Oblivion or Cyrodiil is kind of that. I'll stop here because I could go forever.
Quickly, rate it out of 10.
As where I am right now? The only thing I could say that would be a little bit of a down arrow down for this game is that I kind of like yesterday when I played, I was kind of forced in a way through like a bit of an hour and a half stealth section. And I don't think there was really any way to avoid stealthing. Granted, it wasn't the most difficult, but there is those little, sometimes you're kind of forced to play
But forced stealth is never great.
That was the only time when I was like, ugh, this is a bit of a bummer because I do not have the patience for stealth. But I mean, I can't really give it, it's so unserious but I can't give it anything else than a 10 right now. I could not imagine having a better time than I'm currently having with this game. So we'll see if that changes. We'll do a final verdict at some point when I'm done. But
yeah, maybe this is still the hype talking, but 10 out of 10? Wow.
Feel like it's not the hype talking, because I can totally see the reasons for it not being perfect. I'm not blind to, okay, some mechanics could have worked better and some things, but I just don't care because it's just awesome to be in that world as Henry. And I haven't seen the end of the story and all that. That's how I feel right now.
Let's move on.
So Jake, last podcast episode that I think everybody should go listen to right now.
Do it.
We played a little bit of a quiz. I was like an item from Skyrim and I was located somewhere in Skyrim, and you didn't quite do it. You were really close. You got 1 point.
I felt like I was super close. One more question, I could have gotten it. But let's see how you will do today, because I have also prepared the same quiz. I am either something or someone.
Yes.
In the Skyrim universe, and I am somewhere in Skyrim, a specific location that we definitely all know and love. Just a quick hint from the get-go. And yeah, you have 10 questions, so go.
Are you in Whiterun?
I am not in Whiterun.
Okay, let's
Good thing to get that out of the way.
Are you an NPC?
I am an NPC.
Okay.
Good start.
Are you in one of the cities?
No. I am not in one of the cities.
So what do people love?
So good question.
What do people love that isn't in one of the cities? Let's move on to the...
There was 3 questions done.
Are you in an interior or out in the wild?
I am inside. I'm inside somewhere, but it's not in a city.
Is it a faction place?
It is definitely a faction place. That's 5 questions done.
Okay, are you in the Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary?
I am in the Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary. So 1 down. 4 questions to get the...
Are you a member of... You must be a member of the Dark Brotherhood then.
I'm not a member of the Dark Brotherhood.
What are you doing in there then?
I'm just chilling.
So you're not...
I'm just a chill guy.
You're just a chill guy. You're just a chill guy. Are you part of the main quest line?
I am not part of the main quest line, but I'm definitely part of a quest line. Not to give too much away. Not the main quest though.
Oh, 2 more questions.
And I can appear many places at many different times.
Are you known for, like, if I asked you what time it was, would you say the right time?
No.
Would you lie to me?
I would lie, but not in the way that you're thinking. I would probably maybe just ramble a little bit about, whatever I felt like at the moment.
If you were a politician and you had to go on election, would one of your main cases, would it be like cheese for everyone?
Oh, definitely. That would be my number one cause.
I was very close to saying Mike the liar, but I guess it's Sheogorath in the Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary.
I am Uncle Sheo in Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary. Well freaking done, man.
Thank you. That was a great one. So, Jake... we are now moving to away from the world of sweet rolls and stuff into like ghouls and Nuka-Cola quantums and stuff. We're gonna talk Fallout 4
and perfectly preserved pies.
That was my nickname in high school. Fallout 4, I believe that came out in, is it 2015?
I believe you're right.
So that's 10 years, a decade ago. And in some ways, it's a relevant game to talk about because it was, of course, the first game Bethesda made after Skyrim, as far as I know. And last time we talked a little bit about Starfield and what we can learn from that game in terms of the new Elder Scrolls upcoming game. And this time I've asked you to look into Fallout 4. 3 things that we can learn from Fallout 4, or Bethesda can learn from Fallout 4. But just before we do that, can you just tell me what your relationship is with the Fallout series and Fallout 4 specifically?
Well, I enjoy the Fallout universe, especially. I really think they created something unique and recognizable that a lot of people know, especially also after the show. I never really played.
They being Obsidian, right? Technically, that created
Obsidian,
or what they were called back then. They were called something else, but it wasn't a Bethesda invention. But they definitely improved on the recipe.
And ran with it. They definitely did. I never really played a lot of Fallout 3 and New Vegas. That was just before I really started gaming. I played some New Vegas with you not long ago, but not really a lot. So I cannot talk a lot about that. I played a lot of Fallout 4. I finished it 2 times. And I played a little bit Fallout 76. My favorite for now being...
We played it when... was it under Corona, under lockdown we played that?
I think it was, and we played it together, and it was fine as a co-op game, but it's nothing special.
I had fun, but it was, yeah.
I like it. I don't rank it as high as the Elder Scrolls game or Skyrim at least, but I enjoy Fallout. I think it's a great universe, and it's great fun, and they have some nice mechanics. I love the VATS system and the quirkiness of Fallout and stuff like that.
Is that one of the 3 things that you've said that they could take from the game?
It is actually not. What I did write down is something I talked a little bit about last time as well when we talked about Starfield. It's something that's near and dear to my heart, the companions. I think actually Fallout 4 did quite a good job of creating interesting companions with both character, different identities, also a fair share of personality, which is something I said that last time as well. I miss in Skyrim. I think they improved maybe even more in Starfield. I just generally like the companions more in Fallout 4. I think there are some great companions. There are also some terrible companions. Shout out Preston Garvey. But I mean, at least he has personality. At least you know who he is. We all hate him for it, but I mean, and if he ever marks something on my map again, I will.
It's the hat.
It's the hat. I'm not a hat person. No, it's the hat. But I think they made interesting companions. They are very different. They have their own unique personality, and I like choosing my companions based on who they are as a person and if they're fun to hang out with, and not necessarily just how much damage they do or their carry weight or whatever.
Which is why we hang out.
We definitely.
Have you seen me trying to carry something? Awful.
It's not great. It's 0 strength points.
How would you rate Fallout 4's companions compared to Starfield's companions? Was there like a progress there, or what do you think?
Yeah, well, I think they expand. They made them even more, gave them more personality, gave them more identity, gave them more background story in Starfield. The thing is that I just enjoyed the kind of characters they created in Fallout 4 more. I just like most of them more. In Fallout 4, but I would definitely love to see that also in the next Elder Scrolls.
I feel like it's a bit of a red flag though, because the fact that you like Fallout 4's companions more, and I would agree they're more memorable to me, maybe also because I just enjoy Fallout 4 more than Starfield as a game and a world, but you could argue that Starfield has a lot more companion interaction than Fallout 4 does. And the fact that you then like Fallout 4's more is this kind of a less is more thing.
If it's not done right. Yeah, but that's a bit the thing, because I mean, let's again talking very quickly about Dragon Age: The Veilguard. There is a lot of companion interaction, but it's just not very nice. It's just not very great. So I would rather have great companions with good personality and then less interaction than I would have them just stuff the game full of character interactions that doesn't really do anything for the game, if that makes sense. Next thing that I would love them to take from Fallout 4 is the enemy design. And also in the way they created enemies based on, I mean, they made weak points, and different enemies are susceptible to different kinds of damage. And if you hit an enemy in the head or in the leg, it does different kind of damage, where in Skyrim it's all basically the same. I think it's nice to improve the enemies in general, how they behave, how they react, how they take damage, if they're weak to some kind of damage, if they're more resistant to others. Stuff like that would be nice to take.
Do you have a third thing?
I do, and that is also a big thing for me. I wrote interesting side locations, locations that can be scary or quirky, as we said before, even fun. A few examples. There's the Museum of Witchcraft, which also has this weird, you don't really know what's going on, this mysterious vibe. There is the Harbor Master Hotel, where you all of a sudden fight enemies with like televisions as heads, and it's super weird.
I don't remember that at all.
No, that's a weird place also. And I'm not sure, I mean, some of these places are of course tied to quests also, but not necessarily the main quest. And I think this idea of just putting out places that you can find randomly by exploring, and then they are very different. They are either scary, as I said, they are fun, they're weird, they're different. That makes that gives like a big thing to the immersion again.
I think what makes those games more memorable than and at least in our opinion, that something like Starfield is that things are handcrafted, right? So everybody's experience is the same. When you go to Dunwich Borders, when you go to those places, it's the same loot and the same, I mean, roughly at least, and it's the same story, the same enemies, same location, and that makes it feel
the
like...
same jump scares, the same vibe, the same... You laughed at the same places. You just don't get that with this randomly generated world.
Procedural generation, it's fun in a different way because 2 of your own playthroughs will be different, but it's like it doesn't create as much community because like everybody's experience is different, as you said. So yeah, I would really agree that I hope they go back to designing some handcrafted stuff at least most of the time, because and that you can just say Dunwich Borders and I just remember that whole thing. Yeah, that's what you get.
Yeah, that's special. James, we are at the end of the podcast once again. I just want to ask you, what are you playing at the moment, and are you enjoying it?
I mean, obviously I'm playing... No, we're not talking about Kingdom Come now. I am playing that, but I have actually... I play some other stuff too at the moment. One thing that I'm playing with my girlfriend. I'm playing... we're going back in one of my favorite games of all time, that is Life is Strange, the first one.
Oh, that's
and
good.
I played that when it came out, and... I've had kind of Life is Strange True Colors, which I technically think is the third one, and I also have Double Exposure on my thing, and that's the fourth one. So we decided to give the True Colors one a go, which we're almost done with, and I'm really enjoying the game, and I'm really happy that we did it. It's actually quite a fun game to play too, because you can really, like, every time there's a big choice and all that stuff, you can really sit and have a discussion. It almost becomes a game in itself. It's like a little bit of a relationship test.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
I'm really enjoying that. So that's what I've been playing. We've been also playing tons of board games, like digital board games. So we're also playing something. This is a really weird shout, but if someone out there looks for something like that, then try Wingspan. It's kind of a bird card board game. It's really fun.
Okay, I haven't heard about that.
What are you playing, Jake? Is it still... last time we talked, it was Doom, right?
Yeah, I'm still playing a little bit of Doom Eternal on the side, but I actually also want to talk about couch co-op with my girlfriend. We are playing Don't Starve together, which is like a...
Is that a game, or are you guys just really poor at the end of the month?
We're just poor and hungry. I love Don't Starve. I played Don't Starve first time when I was 10, I think, with my friend from school.
What is it? What do you do?
Yeah, it's like a very, very hardcore, difficult survival crafting game where you just run around in this world. You have to survive. You have to pick up a lot of stuff to be able to craft a little bit of things, make a base, try to survive. It is very challenging because, out of nowhere you're attacked by a pack of 8 hungry wolves. It's a lot of fun. It's great. It's also quite relaxing to just run around and pick up flowers and rocks for an hour and then just see where it goes. So I love that. We'll finish off by saying that I'm looking very much forward to soon playing Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan. I love the old ones. I love the new ones. I love them all, basically. And I think what they've done with Shadows and kind of the direction they're going with that game and with the mechanics and also just the setting.
Yeah, where is it taking place this time?
We are in Japan, as far as I'm concerned, in the samurai era.
Oh, fun.
I think mostly people are excited about it.
Right.
I mean, you will always have the people that enjoy the old ones more and don't like the new, more open world RPG style of the Assassin's Creed games, but mostly favorable.
That crew hasn't loved an Assassin's Creed since, Black Flag? So, I mean, the last 6 or 7 of them have been open world RPGs, right? So
it's basically only the Ezio trilogy that people really really enjoy.
Thanks for meeting with me for this, and we'll do something else. Let me just end up by plugging that we are in fact called Jesters of Tamriel normally, mainly a thing we do on Instagram. We also do have we are also present on TikTok and Facebook, I believe. Is there anywhere else?
No, I think that's it. I mean, mainly Instagram.
If you have something, either knowledge, rumors, or some questions that we want us to go over, please feel free to ask us in the comment section, wherever you see it. And otherwise, I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening, and thanks, Jake.
Thank you, and see you.
Bye.